What I will say is that I knew that Starfield was going to be the biggest thing for me personally. I already knew that Starfield was going to be my biggest thing. So here's one thing, Mux. They have mentioned that there's going to be quite a bit of procedural generation. They did already say that there would be a bit with Starfield for procedural generated worlds. I'm assuming that's going to be for a lot of the kind of the non-major worlds, the main worlds that have major cities and everything that have main story quests. Those are going to be a little bit more like pre-designed. But we might see more procedural generation stuff for a lot of those other worlds that we can explore. I'm almost imagining it's going to be similar to Mass Effect 1, for instance. Although I think Mass Effect 1 was all strictly designed worlds as well. Is that video already up? Like, can I go and just watch that video again? Give me 1 second. I think it might be. I think I might be able to just go and watch that video real quick. Yeah, alright. Who wants to rewatch Starfield? No joke, I'm gonna rewatch it right now. If this is being recorded in 4K, then I absolutely can understand a little bit more of the frame rate hiccups. YouTube is the only site that I use light mode on. Literally nothing else in the world will I use light mode on. YouTube, and that's it. I can absolutely understand the frame rate issues much, much more if it's being recorded in 4K, if the original demo was recorded in 4K. You guys are calling me the psychopath? Blackbird's using light mode on Twitch? She's the real psychopath here. She's the real monster.
We're ready to start on your signal.
I would rather use light mode on YouTube than on fucking Twitch.
Maintaining exit vector course. Steady till ready. Coordinates input. Plotting jump point.
Here's one thing I'll say. They said nothing about a voiced protagonist. We did not see dialogue. We didn't see player dialogue choices at all. So that's one thing to note. I hope we are a silent protagonist. I want to be a silent protagonist.
It's hard to express how excited all of us at Bethesda are to be here with you today. We're so grateful you're spending the...
That's one thing I want to note. Very few games, very few major games like high fidelity, large RPGs have successfully done 4K 60 FPS. Usually it's something along the lines of, oh, do you want fidelity mode where it's true 4K and it'll be 30 FPS, or do you want quality mode where it's... or performance mode, where it's 60 FPS at a hit to resolution and whatnot. Right now, very few games successfully do 4K well. I always choose 60 FPS. I'm not watching anything or playing anything at 60 FPS. If I can play at 1080p, even at 2K, then I'm happy.
Time, and we know you've waited a long time to finally see Starfield. It's easily our most ambitious game ever. Like our previous games, it's an epic role-playing game where you get to be who you want and go where you want. But this time, you'll be exploring space. So let's jump right in. This is early in the game as you arrive on the mysterious moon of Crete.
The combat to me looks really good. I don't know if it's just me, but it does look like an improvement from Fallout 4, Fallout 76. I want to say I think the lighting here looks really good. If you look at the shadowing and everything, render distance and whatnot, I think this does look really, really good. Theo, maybe that'll be one of the starts. Maybe that'll be one of the backgrounds you can choose. You can choose Prisoner. If there's no Prisoner background option, I'll be a little upset. I will say that much. Like Muck said earlier, I really like the cleanness of the UI, and you will see that there is an O2 and CO2 meter. So that may play into exploring some of the worlds. But PJs, we also won't be forced to go to all 1,000 of the worlds, so part of it will come down to how much of a completionist you want to be. Yeah, survey, 66% for Crete. Resources, fauna, flora, scan range, current biome. There's a cutter, there's a pistol. Better breathing equipment, I'm sure that would factor into crafting and whatnot. Damon Grant, I'm with you. I agree. I want to be a silent protagonist. I'm biased because of videos and streams, but... I think the animations look pretty decent, just from what I've seen so far. Shadows look alright. I know some people commented on the face stuff. I'm fine with this still looking like a Bethesda game. Personally, there is something about Bethesda's, like, style. There's something about Bethesda games that you can always really tell when it's a Bethesda game. I don't mind that. If anything, I think it kind of adds a little bit to the charm. I think the faces really do look good, especially when you look at Skyrim, Fallout 4, etc. I think it really does look like the next evolution of that. Cutter, so that's going to be your kind of mining laser type. Harvest resources and the like. I like that, though. I like the Oblivion old zoom in on the face thing. I miss that. If anything, I wasn't crazy about how they did it with Fallout 4. Although Fallout 4 was also largely based on the fact that we had a
of the Crimson Fleet are
speaking
using the facility.
character. Wait, hold on.
I
just want to see the weapons real quick.
The facility.
Grendel equipped. That is your kind of SMG, pistol, cutter, shotgun. And then it looks like we have 12 quick slots in total. But once again, this is on console, so this is going to be based on, for example, this is based on a D-pad. It's going to be like, oh, tap up 1, 2, 3 times, tap to the side 1, 2, 3 times, so on and so forth. Like I said, you can really see a little bit of a drop in the frame rate, but if this is being recorded at 4K, then I do understand that a little bit more. I think the lighting looks really, really good. Once again, hold on. No, just... I want to show one spot in particular. The lighting effects. Like, look at this. That's phenomenal. Look at this. This is great. The dynamic lighting is really, really good, I think.
Sets up on the roof. No one's getting through. Hey, there you are.
Only costs 20 FPS, exactly, yeah. But if this was recorded at 4K, that kind of changes my perspective, or changes my thoughts on that a little bit more. I almost wish they had instead recorded this just at 1080p so we could have really seen a more crisp 60 FPS. But if this is 4K 60 FPS, then you know what? For a game that's not, yep, given that it's not coming out till next year, I can understand that a little bit more. Digipicks instead of lockpicks, security level novice. I like that we're getting a new lockpicking system. I like that it's something different. Also, note that at the bottom there's an auto and there's an undo. You can do a Control-Z. I have to imagine that there will be a crosshair option, and maybe they just turned it off for this, but once again, I like that as an option. Captain Ark, yeah, I am going to be sitting here, I'm going to be dissecting as much as I can, but suffice it to say right now, very, very happy. Thank you for the 100 bits. Hope you're doing good today. Agreed, you'd be searching, agreed. I prefer the Skyrim way of doing it, where you can do above your level. Equinox, that's Okay, that's what we saw here, where it's a little bit of almost a...
You're gonna pay for that!
Almost looks like a little bit of an energy weapon of sorts. Like I said, the UI looks very clean. The UI almost reminds me a little bit of Ray, for instance. Almost like pseudo-retro sci-fi in terms of some of the design aspects.
After some initial encounters, you're invited to join
The
Constellation.
UI reminds me
who, in the
of
future...
Alien Isolation. That's what it reminds me of. It reminds me a little bit of Alien Isolation's UI. And I loved the UI aspects of Alien Isolation.
The game is set in are the last group of space explorers. To meet them, you'll head to the capital
Jetpacks
city
makes sense because they
of New
did lean
Atlantis.
into that with Fallout 4. Ooh, Captain Argo, you're not too sunburned. I'm sorry to hear that. I will be uploading this to YouTube. I'll be uploading all of this. I can promise you that much. I think there will be scripted spaceship encounters, for instance, landing on the planet that you're on,
Welcome
dropping
to
off
Constellation.
enemies and whatnot.
We have a lot to talk about.
I'm gonna do another quick thing right here. Look at the hair.
Welcome
You can
to
actually see
Constellation.
hair
We
physics
have a
on it.
lot to talk about.
It's subtle, but it looks
We're
good.
all here because we're committed to the biggest question of all.
But I'm sure we'll have
What's
instances
out
of
there?
ships dropping off reinforcements. Some
These
scripted, maybe some
artifacts could be
unscripted as well.
everything we've been looking for. As to what they are, what they're building. You'll be part of solving that puzzle now.
I think they've pretty much confirmed that the watch is going to be in the special edition, in the collector's edition for Starfield. The only real thing that throws me off with the faces is how almost watery the eyes look. There's like a certain level of sheen on the eyes that throws me off a little bit, but other than that, I think it's that they stand out much more compared to the rest of the face, but aside from that, I think the hair looks really good for Bethesda. I think face textures, you can actually see pores and whatnot. This is a very notable upgrade for me.
So, you found something?
The new guy found it.
You dug up the artifact, right?
Yeah.
That means you saw
Well,
it.
now you
The
need to get an
visions?
Xbox for this shit.
The artifact you found appears to be one of many, scattered across the galaxy. If we can find more, we can unlock their secrets.
Hold on. I love that we're getting this
That
sort of
means
Appears to be one of
museum-looking
many,
thing.
scattered across the galaxy.
Hold on.
If we can find more,
The
we can
diversity
unlock their
in
secrets.
locales is already fantastic. We're only seeing a few right now, but we're already seeing so much in terms of diversity for different locations, for different cities, for different settings and whatnot. Yeah, I'm really, really impressed. Brandy, obviously take it with a grain of salt, but I read an interview with Todd Howard from the other day where he said that they have essentially finished the mainline development for Starfield, and from now till launch is largely going to be polishing, bug fixes, etc. If that is true, if that's the case, then I will be very, very happy, because then it means they're not going to be rushing as much for QA, for optimization, for all of that, ideally.
Beautiful, isn't it? The man who sold me this told me that it spoke to
I
him.
like this
Of
man.
course, the Settled Systems is full of groups with other priorities.
That's the Crimson Fleet!
Everybody get ready!
The fleet doesn't follow the rules. Agree to work for UCC Steph. Together, we take down these cutthroat pirates.
Oh,
We're not
that
just here to
rifle
cut the
looks
pirates.
really good. Hold on. Yeah, the AR-99, that looks solid. I agree. I hope that base building isn't as much of a core tenant as it was in Fallout 4. I liked Fallout 4, but it felt like they emphasized the building too much at times because it was the brand new thing. I'm hoping here it's going to feel a little bit more optional. I would love to customize my ship. I'm looking forward to customizing my ship. I just don't want there to be sections of the main questline where, like, you can't continue until you add 18 toilets to your ship's bathroom.
We're not just here
You can't continue the main questline until you
We're
build
peacekeepers.
10
We
settlements
protect the
on
people
these
of the Free Star
worlds.
Collective. When you sign up with the Crimson Fleet,
Exactly.
no
I
one
want
quits. The only
one
way out
dedicated base. I don't want
is
a colony
death.
on every planet
The path
for
ahead may
myself
be
that I
dangerous.
built.
The path ahead may be dangerous.
0G gameplay, anybody? 0G gameplay? At first I thought it might have just been the jetpack, but no. You don't see anything from a jetpack. You see items floating.
But we are not stopping.
Most Dusties don't even make it this far.
Because
I
whatever
love the
lies at
suits.
the
I
end
love
of
the
this
art
road
designs.
will
The
change
creatures look
humanity
incredible.
forever.
It's very much a, from what I can see of the main questline of the main story, it's very much a alien civilization left behind. What is it doing here? How does it factor into our place in the universe? Which I like. If anything, I would love this to be a more human-focused questline, or a more human-focused game. Not having your traditional sentient aliens and whatnot. Not having your Twi'leks, your blue ladies. Have it be more human-focused. Have the emphasis on alien life being whatever civilization made this before.
That gives you a look at the stories in Starfield. But ultimately, it's not our story. It's the story you create by who
Right
you are.
now,
and
my
the choice-
biggest concern is it's going to be too big. But I'm hoping that we're not going to be forced to visit, all 1,000 worlds. That threw me off. That's incredible. But I really hope it is up to me to decide how much of that I want to do. I hope we get romance. They did start with that in Fallout 4. I'd love to see them expand on that. Draken, the Series X is, in my opinion, a little bit more bang for your buck. The Series X, it's $500 versus $300. The Series X has better internals. It has better graphics card, better processor, double the amount of storage as the Series S. So I personally, I think you get a little bit more mileage from the X. The Series S is digital only 500 gigabytes. The Series S is a great system if you're not looking to spend as much on gaming. The Series S is a fantastic either starting system or more quote-unquote budget system. Also, I chose the worst time to pause this. This is not a flattering pause right here.
choices you make. And that starts
Oh,
with
here's the
character
other thing I'll
creation.
say. If you're getting one system, if you're only getting one system, if this isn't like a backup system or a secondary system for you to play games on, get the Series X. If that is going to be your main only system for gaming, get the Series X. If you already have a decent PC, if you already have a PlayStation, so on and so forth, get the Series S. You save a little bit of money, and if it's not going to be your main thing, then sure, get the S. But if you're going to mainly play on one thing in particular, Series X. Biometric customizations can be changed later by visiting a genetics facility. Argos extractors. Okay. So, if I had to kind of guess a little bit on the start of the game, yeah, you're starting off just as a part of Argos extractors, a mining company or some sort, which leads into you finding the artifact, which leads into you joining Constellation as the main quest line. Okay. That is my thought there. That's what I think that's going to be, because it's saying Argos Extractors. We see you with the cutter. They even said very early on in the game, harvesting the iron, scanning for materials, and that's what leads into you finding the initial artifact. That's the other thing, Llama. They did mention, not in this, but in a previous video, in a previous thing they had done, they had mentioned that with Starfield, they wanted to bring back some things from their older games, from Arena, from Daggerfall, traits, backgrounds, things that maybe are considered a little bit more RPG-centric, or like older school RPG, and finding ways to modernize it, to fit it into their game, to make it a little bit more nuanced and a little bit more in-depth, which I like.
It's our most flexible yet. You can customize
character
all
creation
the
reminds me a little
look.
bit of Fallout 4, but I really liked Fallout 4's character creation in general. I really like the UI. I really like
that gives you three
everything that they chose here. Beast Hunter, Bouncer, Bounty Hunter, Chef. I am gonna be a space chef. I'm ready for it. Combat Medic, Cyber Runner. Oh my god, it's Cyberpunk! Cyberneticist, Diplomat Explorer, Gangster, Homesteader, Industrialist, Long Hauler, Pilgrim Professor, Ronin. Oh. From Neon to New Atlantis, the megacorps stand as monuments to power, prestige, and profit. You've worked both for and against them on the inside, and now often sacrificing conscience for credits.
Starting skills.
Yeah, persuasion, diplomacy, bargaining. The wars of over peace now reigns over the settled systems, but only because there are those quietly fighting to keep it. Because EU agreements were signed, words were heeded, lives were spared.
Says here you spent some time as a diplomat. Having a way with words might prove useful.
There are optional traits.
Introvert, extrovert, empath. Wait a second, hold on. Alien DNA? What? I'm assuming that's going to tie into the main questline about finding the alien artifact and how it turns out that they've played a role in our upbringing, but... Alright.
And these
Neon
come with
Street
unique
Kid, raised on Neon, raised enlightened, raised universal.
Advantages and disadvantages.
Let's not speculate too hard, yeah, but my bet is it's something to do with the artifact that we found.
And how your character plays
That's my
and
best
develops.
bet, personally.
The skill system combines the best from our previous
Targeting,
games,
sniper,
and you
heavy
can unlock
weapons,
new skills as you level up,
ballistics.
and then you rank those skills up by using them
I like
and completing
the
challenges.
change in badge
And there's
as you
deep
get the new
crafting
skills.
systems, from running research projects.
Okay, yeah. Pharmacology, medical treatment, performance enhancement, food and drink, because I'm a chef. Outpost development, building outposts and whatnot. Equipment, so like we said, maybe being able to improve your suit and whatnot. Weaponry.
Projects with the resources you find, to crafting weapon mods needed to survive.
The variety of creatures looks good so far.
And you can build your own outposts. These act as a home away from home for survival and resource posts. These act...
I hope this is an option. I hope they let us actually build from above and have a little bit more of an extended view, as opposed to having to place everything in first person on the ground. That would make this way easier.
As a home away from home for survival and resource generation.
Crop, when
choose
is the
where
PC
and
Gaming
how
show?
to
Is it
build
at
each
4
one.
today?
And you can hire characters you meet to keep it up and running.
What time is it? I'll watch it.
But that's not all.
20 minutes from now, I'll watch it.
You can even build your own spaceships.
3:30, so I'll watch that, yeah. Crop, do you have a link by any chance? So we'll wrap up this.
You can choose crew members.
We will wrap this up and then
yes,
we'll go over.
you can completely customize the look and layout. There's loads of different modules, ship manufacturers, and more.
Thank you, Crop.
I have to say, it's so cool. We just absolutely love this.
Having paint jobs, it's a small thing, it's a little thing, but I love it. I'm gonna build the Razor Crest. I'm gonna build the Star Wars ship of my dreams.
From engines to shields to weapon systems, because yes, you can fly it.
Thrusters boosted.
Let's fucking go. Tom, I was thinking of you. They do have a cowboy hat. They show the shield around your ship, which I do like. Showing speed, boost, balance. Oh no, that would be ballistics, not balance. The music, I love. The music, I adore. Enemy missiles locked on. The question is, can we board disabled vessels? That's something I would love myself as an option. Maybe larger vessels, maybe not the smaller ones, but that would be really, really nice. Like, for instance, we just saw a freighter. We know we can join the Crimson Fleet, the space pirates. I would love to disable that and board it. Here's the other thing. If that's not in the base game, then maybe mods. This is our universe as they see it in 300 years. Or rather, as they've envisioned it for this universe, or for the game in 300 years. Probably more so quest-based reporting, yeah. But once again... Oh, wait. Hold on. Wait. Right there. Docked. So it's a possibility. It is a possibility.
We can't wait for all of you to experience the game. Thanks again for being with us today, and thanks for all the support you've given us over the decades, especially on this game. It's been an incredible journey for us making it, but we know that's really only the beginning, for it's when all of you play it that the real journey begins. And
it was a really good amount of variety that they said in the showcase.
So we thought we'd take one last moment and show you. Let's take a look at one of our planets, Jemison. You can land in New Atlantis, but you can also land and explore anywhere on the planet.
That I was not expecting. Here's the thing. I was expecting multiple landing zones on a planet. I thought it was going to be specific landing zones. Like, oh, you land at New Atlantis and you can surround, or you can explore the surrounding, like, 5 miles or something. I was expecting to have something to that extent, like, oh, this part of the planet's habitable, this place is yada yada. But no.
Not just this planet, it's all the planets in the system. From barren but resource-heavy ice balls to Goldilocks planets with life.
Kind of like Outer Worlds, yeah.
And not just
Outer
this
Worlds,
system,
Destiny 2.
but over 100 systems. Over 1,000 planets, all open for you to explore. We can't wait to see what you find.
There's probably limits. There's probably a lot of procedural generation for sure, but... Wait a second. Wait a second. That's fucking Mars, right? That's gotta be Mars. Because we were just saying, it's like, oh, I hope we can explore the Sol system. They were at Earth too. Oh no, Uncle, I'm sure it's gonna be very No Man's Sky-ish, where there's gonna be a lot of planets that are just kind of there that you can explore, you can get resources from, but yeah. I would be really under the impression that not every planet's going to be as relevant. There's going to be planets that are mainly just for resources and whatnot, optional things and whatnot, but the amount of variety that is going to give mod authors, the amount of variety, the amount of worlds that mod authors will be able to use for quest mods and the like. Holy fucking shit. I will be releasing this on YouTube, by the way. I will be posting this on YouTube. For those watching the YouTube video, I hope you enjoyed. I will be doing a Starfield full playthrough on YouTube when it releases in 2023. If you watch this video, you know I'm excited. You know I'm looking forward to it. It is more than I expected. It is much bigger. It's much more ambitious than I had originally anticipated. And I'm pleasantly surprised.